SeaWorld Orlando has a cool new ride where you can soar, twist, and glide through the Arctic, and today we're getting a sneak peek. Come on. This show really does have it all. We've seen electric vehicles, we've seen hydrogen vehicles, but if none of those work for you, there is one other option. This $4.3 million Bugatti. And along the way, you'll meet some of Buddy the Elf's friends, such as Mr. Narwhal. Who can forget that iconic line in the movie where he goes, "Bye, buddy. I hope you find your dad." There's a lot of pink here behind me, and that can only mean one thing, that the National Cherry Blossom Festival is officially almost here yet again in DC. After you've seen the walruses and the penguins, you're gonna work up a bit of an appetite here at SeaWorld, and lucky for you, there's a lot of options. The 5th anniversary of the Old Town Festival of Speed and Style is back here in Alexandria, but it's not just cars and fun. You're actually going to be helping a lot of the small-owned local businesses here in Old Town. This is just one of the 6 art exhibits here called America's Playground. Take a look at this photo. This was taken in 1954, Four Seasons, Washington, D.C. It's making sure that none of these local heroes go hungry. Let's go see what Chef Bilal's cooking up. Gotta hold it like that.
Yeah, pull the handle. Now.
Oh, look at that.
Now.
It's beautiful. So you can come out and cuddle these cows. You can also bottle feed them, which I tried a little bit earlier this morning. We'll put a clip of that in right now. It was pretty tragic. We went into this industry because we can't do that. Right.
Speak for yourself.
It's the most wonderful time of the year here at George Washington's Mount Vernon. You can come see for yourself how the first president and his family celebrated their Christmas in the 18th century. Eric Vitro, who has instructed some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. He's joining us now to give us a behind-the-scenes look into the world of show business. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Live Now from Fox. So happy to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, of course. Well, Eric, I really just want to delve into how you got into all of this. You're a coach to some of the biggest names in Hollywood right now. Where did this passion for music start for you?
Gosh, it started when I was really young. I mean, I've never done anything else. It's all I remember doing. You know, since the time I was about 5 or 6 years old, I could play the piano. I learned to play the piano when I was really young. And so I started teaching friends of mine, my cousins, to sing along. And one of my cousins always jokes that when we were 5 or 6 years old, I was correcting her. She was singing a note wrong in a Christmas carol. And she said, I was so like angry and irritated, like, no, that's the wrong note. You have to get it right. So I've just always loved music, loved listening to singers, and I've been doing it my entire life.
And like I said, you have trained some really big stars, and I'm showing just some of these selfies you have with all these people. We're seeing Sabrina Carpenter there. You've worked with Katy Perry, Emma Stone, the list goes on and on. Did you ever imagine in your life, a young Eric, that this is where you would be today?
You know, I don't want to sound arrogant about this, but yes, I did kind of envision it. When I was a young kid, I used to watch the Ed Sullivan Show, and for some reason, I didn't want to be on the show, but I always wanted to be one of the people who worked with the stars who were on the show. And, you know, I just loved people like Elvis Presley. I loved Judy Garland, all these different singers of that time period, Frank Sinatra. And so I always kind of pictured myself working with them. And, you know, my father would say, what makes you think? Because I would say, I want to go to Hollywood and work with some big movie stars or some big pop stars. And my father would say, what makes you think any of these people are going to want to work with you? And for some reason, I just did. I really don't know where that came from. I think it was just one of those lucky things. I knew what I loved doing, and I had a certain confidence it was going to work out.
Hey, that's a good attitude to have, right? And I do want to pop up this image again of you with Ariana Grande. Can we start from the beginning? How did you meet her, and when did you two begin working together?
You know, I met her right before she went to Broadway. They did an out-of-town version of the musical 13. And I was working with the star of the show. His name was Graham Phillips. And so he introduced me to Ariana and her mom, and I met her, and I just knew instantly she was going to be a big star. I just knew it. Her voice was extraordinary. Her personality was great. Everything about her just struck me as being someone I wanted in my life and I wanted to work with, and I wanted to be a part of my family. And that's what she's become. She's been a part of my family for years, since she was about 13 years old. And so, you know, we just started working together first on Skype, if you remember Skype years ago.
What a throwback.
She She was living in Boca Raton. Then she came to New York to do 13. Then she moved out to LA. But I started with her actually on Skype. We did Skype lessons when she was still living at home in Boca Raton. And we've just worked together ever since. It's been a really great relationship.
Yeah, and a lot of us know Ariana Grande for her pop vocals, but this role of Glinda in Wicked is musical theater based, even operatic, right? So what did that training like before the audition up into when she was filming the movie?
Yeah, well, she already obviously had that spectacular voice. She already had extreme high notes. So it wasn't like developing that voice. What it was is creating more of an operatic tone, more of an operatic voice. So that's what we worked on for the audition. And then that's what we worked on in preparation for her to go to London and film the show. And right from the start, she said, you know, I want to earn this. I want to audition like everybody else. I don't want it just given to me. I want to really work at it. So she went into, I believe, 4 auditions. It was for sure 3, but maybe 4 auditions. And we worked a lot on just getting her voice to sound more operatic. And then we worked for several months before she went to London. And, you know, she's one of those people who works very diligently, works really hard. She has a great work ethic. And I always say to people, you know, when they say, what's your advice? I say, work as hard as you possibly can, you know, because that's the way to become great. You don't just wake up and be great. You have to really work at it. A friend of mine used to say, while someone isn't working, someone else is. So he would say to people, well, you're not working at it. Someone else is working at wanting the same career. So I think that that's such a huge part of becoming a big star. And that's what she did. She worked really hard and now it's all paying off for sure.
Great advice there. I was going to ask you that. You know, what is your advice? Because clearly Ariana's success, but also your success in the industry. Can I ask, were you able to go to the premiere? And if so, what was that like to finally see it all come together?
I did go to the LA premiere and it was overwhelming. I can't even begin to tell you what it was like. It was just so thrilling and exciting. And to see it all come together after we had talked about it for years, because that had been a goal of hers for years, to be involved with Wicked in some way, especially if there was going to be a Wicked movie. She just dreamed of it for so long and wanted it. We would discuss it. And I was, you know, hoping for her as well that it would happen, it would come true. And so to watch it from the minute she came out in the bubble, I was so emotional because I was like, this is it. It's here. It happened. It's so exciting.
Absolutely. Eric, it has been so fun chatting with you. Is there anything else that you want to add just about success in Hollywood or Wicked or any of it?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's all about how hard you work. Like Sabrina Carpenter is an excellent example. I started working with her when she was 12 years old, and she has worked really, really hard, consistently all these years. And now this year, it really, really paid off. I mean, she was always doing well, but this year, obviously, things went to a whole nother level.
Right.
And that's what I try to impress upon people is if you give your best, if you give 110, 120, 150% of yourself, it's going to pay off. People will recognize it. People will respect you for it. And then you'll also have a longer lasting career because careers in Hollywood, they can go up and down really quickly. You can get lucky and get something, but to maintain a career, you have to work at it very, very, very hard. And so I say, throw yourself into it for the love of it. You have to really want to do it. You can't be in it just because you think you're going to be rich and famous. That doesn't work. You have to really do it because you really love it and you love every aspect of it, especially the journey of getting there. You have to enjoy the journey.
Absolutely. Hollywood's a tough business, so very sound advice there. Eric Vitro, celebrity vocal coach, thank you for joining us on Live Now from Fox.